Hey there! Ever wanted to build your own text adventure game without writing a single line of code? Well, you can using ChatGPT. In this video, I'll show you how I created an interactive adventure game inside a custom GPT. It's like those classic adventure games like Zork, for example, but smarter. So let's dive in. Here it is, Chat Adventure, not a very creative name, but let's go and start the game. So I click here on let's start, and then we get the description of the first room. You are now in the entrance hall. You're standing in a large entrance hall with high ceilings and a chandelier. To the north, there's a massive wooden door that is, of course, currently locked. What would you like to do? So let's try and unlock the door. I suppose that won't work. Unlock the door. The door is locked. You try the handle, but it won't budge. The massive wooden door to the north remains firmly shut. It looks like it needs a key, of course. So let's look around the entrance hall, and then let's see what we have there. You discover a small table near the wall beneath the chandelier. On it lies a shiny key glinting slightly in the dim light. Of course, I will get the key, and that's very easy here. The first quest, the first task. It feels slightly cold in your hand, but solid, clearly made to fit a sturdy lock on the northern door. So, of course, I will use it to unlock the wooden door to the north with the key. Maybe I don't have to write that, but I will do it anyway. So let's see if it works. Yes, it works. You insert the key into the lock and turn it. With a soft click, the massive wooden door to the north swings open. You enter the library, and then the description of the library. And there is a desk here, and I think I will maybe examine the desk a bit. So the wood is scratched and aged, but sturdy. On top rests a dusty journal and an empty inkwell. Okay. More importantly, one of the drawers is slightly ajar. Okay, so open the drawer. I would say inside you find a hidden switch. That's very good. Tucked in the back corner, and somewhere where you hear the sound of the mechanism unlocking. Okay, so it is automatically pressing the switch. I don't have to say it, and then the unlocking mechanism of the door is taking place. Very nice. And then I can go. It came from the direction of the entrance hall. Okay. Let's see where we can exit here. You enter Coastal Library. Blah, blah, on the old desk stands in the middle of the room. The door behind you remains open, and it has only the quiet of pages and dust. Okay, so I would say let's go back to the entrance hall. Go back to the entrance hall. So you walk back into the entrance hall, and to the east, a once invisible panel has shifted slightly, revealing a newly unlocked door leading outside. Okay, so that's nice. Stairs of the next room. Okay, you're now outside, so it's automatically going outside. I don't have to tell it to. You wonder whether to head into the forest or towards the city. Okay, so let's stop here. So I am outside here and solved two puzzles. One was getting the key from the table, and then the second one was in the library, unlocking the entrance hall door, the other one leading to the outside with this switch. And now I'm outside. Let's see now, how did I do this here in this custom GPT? And for that, we can go into edit mode. So edit GPT. And here we can see how it is configured. Now let's check. The name is here, Chat Adventure. You can, of course, change it to something more specific to your own game. And then a short description. And what is the most important thing here, or the most important entry input here, is the instructions here. So the instructions are what makes the game in this case, and then underneath you can have conversation starters that you can click on. So I only have this let's start here, but you can have multiple, and then the user can just click on these and then the GPT answers. And also you can upload files. I haven't done that here. There's no need for this chat adventure. Or maybe you can upload files with descriptions of rooms and so on. Maybe this will be necessary if you really make a big adventure and not a small one like this here. So let's put this to full screen or maximize this. And here you can see how I did describe the mechanism. So here is the role instruction. First, you are a text-based adventure game. So this is very important so that the GPT understands that this is a text adventure game and the user, the player, can enter instructions what to do in this game, and then the GPT will answer. After each player action, provide a description of the current room. I think this is standard in text adventures, and also sometimes you have pictures. This is not that easy here to implement, but you can upload files and then maybe reference the images here in the room descriptions. And this is here under room descriptions. But let's first see a description of the room will be provided, the status of the next room, or maybe this you can leave out. I think this is not standard, so maybe we delete that and then wait for the next input from the player. These are the general instructions what to do in the adventure game from the perspective of the GPT here. And here we have the room instructions. So there are only 3 rooms here. Room 1 is the entrance hall, and here is the description. To the north, there's a massive wooden door that is currently locked. And here you can see that this is really not describing what to do here. This is just the description. And then the second room is the library, and then we have outside as a room. Also, here is this very important game mechanics section. So from the starting room, the player begins in the entrance hall, of course, because this is room 1, but it is stated here to be sure that really this is the first room that the player starts in. And now we have the unlock conditions for the next rooms. So this is unlock condition for the library, room 2. This library door can be opened with a key. And also we have the unlock condition for the outside room, in quotes. The door leading outside is locked and has no visible lock. A hidden switch inside a drawer of the desk in the library must be activated. And this is really in detail explaining how to unlock the door in the entrance hall. But here you can see that this is not really telling the GPT that the door to the outside is really in the entrance hall. So this is something that the GPT makes up, and it is not stated here. It could also be that the door is in the library, but it isn't. So here it is not stated that the door to the outside is in the entrance hall. So here you can see that there is no mentioning of this outside door. Okay, so here are also player interaction instructions. The player can explore the surroundings to discover clues or items, of course. But here also, this is very important, an example of the gameplay, player action, and the game response. So examples are very important to show the GPT how it can respond to actions or to messages of the player here. Player action, I examine the entrance hall, and then an example of a response. You discover a small table in the entrance hall. This is only the example, but you have seen in the game, this is really the key here lying on the small table. This is the key to the first puzzle. The key, or how to solve the first puzzle, is really here in the example. And then we have the next player action will be I take the key and try to open the northern door. Then the door is opening. So this will be more or less the conversation of the first puzzle, but here you can see there's no example for the second one. So this has to be done by the GPT. Okay, so these are the very important system instructions. So this is what makes the game here. And of course you can try to upload files here, as I said, for room descriptions, and then reference these in the system instructions maybe also, and tell the GPT that the room descriptions are here in this file, or maybe the solutions for the puzzles are in the other file, something like that. Okay, so here are actions you can add. So here's also a weather example. I think I have forgotten to delete that because I was experimenting a bit. So you don't need that here, but if you have a web service, something like that, that can support the adventure here, you can maybe create actions and then call this web service, maybe a REST API, something like this, to be called from the GPT and then returning additional room descriptions or additional puzzles, something like that. Okay, so and short, this is it. This is the whole adventure. So I'm not really giving too much detail here. Of course, you can do that. So make the room descriptions and the puzzle descriptions and the solutions more detailed. But this is how you program with ChatGPT. So this is no code. It doesn't have to be exact. It doesn't have to cover everything. If something is missing, the GPT will fill in the gaps, so to speak, and will make the game complete. So even if I go to, let's say I go to the outside then, and there's no other description for a different room. So steps of the next room outside, and I'm here in the outside, and I can go to the forest or towards the city. And now I can just go to the city and note that there's no description for this room, but it is working. You step outside and head towards the city. The path winds gently downhill and so on. And here you can see as you approach the silhouette of a bustling city rise against the sky, stone towers, glowing windows. To be continued. So would you like to continue your adventure in the city or restart the game? So it notices that this is the end of the game, but I can continue. So let's just continue the adventure here. You arrive at the edge of the city, and this is totally made up. So I have described the game mechanics and the first 3 rooms, and that's it. And now I can play the adventure in the city, which I haven't described. So this is totally made up from the GPT. And this, of course, if you really want to make an adventure game and really put in some creative ideas, and you want to describe the quests and the rooms, and here also the city in this case, then of course you have to provide more descriptions, and this you can maybe do in files and not in the system instructions. But you can see you can also let the GPT do the rest here. So this is kind of programming, but it's not like programming in, for example, C++, C#, JavaScript, where you have to exactly describe step by step what to do, but you tell the GPT here what your game mechanics are, how an example conversation is, and what the adventure is about, the topic, and then the rest will be, as you can see in this case, created by the GPT. So I think this is very interesting here, and it's also fun. So if you want to try it, I put a link to this chat adventure here in the description, and you can also make your own, of course. I showed you how to do this. If you like the video, please consider subscribing, because there will be more videos on this and also about classical programming, but with the help of AI. And hope to see you in the next video.